Guys, hope you're well. Super excited about this episode. So welcome to the Elson Bros podcast. Today it is Beginner's Guide to SEO Q&A. So basically what I'm going to do is, it's Damion Elson here. I am a online presence strategist and graphic designer. So I'm the creative behind what me and Dan are doing for people at the minute. So I'm working as a team. What I'll do is I'll bring Dan in now, and then we'll get started, and we'll get an intro from Dan as well. Give me a second. Inviting Dan in there now. Hope you can all hear me well. Let me know if you can't hear me. Comment below. Thanks so much for popping in, everyone. For those that have just joined, please do share this out. Because this is going to be a really good one, based Beginner's Guide to SEO. So if you know anyone that's struggling with the SEO right at this moment in time with their website, do share it with them, tag people in. Let me just see if Dan can get in here. Just invite him. Here's Dan. Hi, Dan.
Good morning from Sydney.
Good morning from Sydney. Hope you're well. Yourself sorted there. Hope things are good.
Yeah, all good. All good.
So I just introduced myself. Yeah, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah. So I just introduced myself a little bit, just saying who we are. Basically, what we're really passionate about, helping people grow their businesses online with their marketing. And I'm more the creative side of the Elson Bros agency, and yourself is more digital and SEO side. So basically, this podcast is going to be me almost interviewing you, Dan, and asking you a few questions based around SEO. So if you can just throw in a little introduction about yourself, Dan, and also a bit more of a background of the SEO, and maybe throw in, I don't know, a few clients and stuff like that maybe you've worked for.
Yeah, cool. So, yep, I'm Dan, broadcasting live from Sydney in Australia. It's 7:11 a.m. here. So myself, I'm a digital marketer and world traveller, and my background is about 7-8 years working in UK digital agencies, particularly specialists around SEO, PPC, so search engine optimization, pay-per-click, or SEM as it's called and known in Australia. I've also worked for digital agencies, which are quite big in the digital space, and now I'm working for a company here in Sydney, which is not just digitally based, but events, sports marketing, every kind of different marketing you can think of. And yeah, my passion is about digital marketing, making sure that small businesses can move ahead and take on the big boys, and luckily online that's possible. And yeah, my experiences across digital strategies, doing these for some of the biggest clients in the world. In the UK, clients you probably recognise like Evans Halshaw, the automotive dealership network group. People like Mankind, the gadget shops, Mail-in Entertainment Group, which is Sea Life, Madame Tussauds, all them kind of people. So I've had a lot of experience across different industries and the way that it all works, and for SEO particularly, which is search engine optimization. Very basically, what it means is making sure that your website appears in search. So what we mean by search pretty much is it's Google. So Google being 90-95% of the market is the one that you really need to be concentrating on. Leave the other ones alone for the time being. And the idea is that you set up your website so that Google see it, believe you're the authority within the industry, and then more likely to rank you higher for when people search for certain key terms. And that's basically what search engine optimization is. The idea behind it is that Google look at your website, go, right, cool, you should be appearing higher, and thus this is free traffic for you. So regardless of what people are perhaps saying or whatever, Google still is king. Google still gets billions of searches a day. It might be the fact that more people are on Facebook, but people on Facebook are in a different mindset than on, a Google search engine. On Google search engine, you're searching for something because you want it now, you want to look for it. Clothes, football boots, laptops, whatever it might be, a solution to a problem. Everybody goes to Google. It's as simple as that. Now, Facebook is a different place. It's more about social and all that kind of thing. So Google absolutely is key still. Don't believe the hype, but it won't be. It'll change, it'll evolve, but Google is still making billions of dollars a year. So make sure
I think your website. Yeah, so your website is. I keep telling people that it's basically your shop window, if you like. The case of you need to look the best you can, especially through search, through terms. It's great to have your own personal brand, but you still got to get people to search for you based on the terms of what you do. So, so number one question was, what is SEO? And I think you've kind of answered that, Dan, straight away, which is awesome. What I would do is I'm just going to ask you number two, if that's all right. And then, so number two was, what can I do, or what can people do for their business today to rank on Google? You might have touched on this already, but maybe just elaborate a little bit more for people.
Yeah, so we've covered the first question, which is basically what is SEO. So when we refer to SEO, it's search engine optimization. Do everything you can do for your website so that you appear in Google. And the high up in Google, let's face it, you're on first page, if you're first 3-4 links on the first page, that's basically where you need to be. So there's certain things that you have to do to get you there. It's basically threefold. It's technical, it's content. So what I mean by technical is that your website's set up sound so that Google can crawl it with its little bots. So basically Google can look at your website and go, all right, cool, I know what this website's about. You've set it up so that my bot can go around it in terms of a sitemaps. It can look around your website quickly and effectively. And you've got H1 tags, which means I know what the content on that website's about. Or you've got this page set up like this. Or here's your title and here's your description, as you can see it in organic search. So that's technical. Content, what I mean by content is making sure you've got the right content. Again, content that Google can read and make sense of it. Now, I'm not talking about, we want to rank for a certain keyword, let's just put it everywhere. No, that in SEO today. SEO today is being user-friendly, making sure that you give much value and content as possible. So the idea is you have a page which is about everything. So if you're wanting to kind of rank quite high for your local shop, what you would do on your page is it makes sense on your About Us page or Find Us page that not to just include Find Us in a little map, but also underneath like a bit of a spiel of the local area, other things that you could perhaps go to see and do. The whole point of this is for Google to see more and more information, read more and more information on that page and go, right, you're the authority in that area. So when somebody searches for blah, blah, blah in that area, I know, Google knows when it looks at your website, right, that's the right fit for that. You should be higher. That's the right fit. I know that's the right fit. So Google's always getting smarter and learning more. And that's what
So
I mean by
that's
content.
based on content then, really. Yeah.
So content needs to be the right content. It needs to be useful for a consumer, but it also does need to use your keywords. But what I'd say is just write it in your own terminology. And the third thing is basically building links. Now, I won't never reference to it building links because that's not where you should approach it. What it should be is build your brand online. Now, what I see is the fact that, you might have these big brands offline, Toys R Us, or in Australia, it might be Coles, But the thing is, in Google's eyes, if you're not a big brand online, then you don't exist. So you might be a massive brand offline and be like, oh yeah, you know, we've got this big brand behind us. Google don't care about that. Google only can see what you can see online. And the way that it looks at this very simply is that if other people link to your website, that's them saying, thumbs up, we think that website's a good one. And when it links to it from a website which is about your industry, your niche, or whatever it might be, industry-wise, you're basically saying to Google, I think this website knows what it's on about. So the whole point is you have a website which makes you authority, you build your brand online, and through this, through mentions and through people linking to your website, because you've got a piece of content which is fantastic and it's 2,000 words and it's the best thing online. You know, you see these articles, which is like the, you know, for example, in mine, you know, money saving for travel. There might be a website article out on there which is 100 best tips, and then somebody else does 110 best tips, and then elaborates on the tips and links to other websites where you can then find out more information. And there's infographics on there which makes it prettier and makes it work better for people. Then people share these infographics and then link back to you. This is all about building your authority online, becoming the brand. So the way I see it is basically it's marketing 101 in the real world, but you do it online. You make it, you know, you become the authority. So like I say, it's free.
So backlinks are really important. Backlinks.
Absolutely, As people might not like say, oh, you're not important. They absolutely are. It's the number one, you know, without Google really saying it. They look at loads of other stuff and it's important to be on social and all this kind of stuff. But basically, as simple as it is, Google are using backlinks. Now, that's not to say you need 10,000 backlinks. If your competitor's got 10,000, you've only got 100, then your website's not as powerful. Don't get me wrong. But it's not all about, let's get as many different links as possible. It's about getting the right links, so the right backlinks from the right websites in your industry.
And is that, that's within your niche, I guess, and within what you're talking about, definitely.
And the way that it works is the better that link is, so the stronger websites linking to you. Massively, heaps. Pardon me, massively affects how good that link is. So if you're getting a link from just a generic site, and by a link I mean a follow link, so that it's not no follower. So basically Google follow that. Difference between that is a follow link, Google follow it, and then go to your website. It's no follow link, the bot can't follow it. So it needs to be a follow link for a start. But if it's coming from the likes of CNN or Daily Mail or the BBC, these are the kind of places, again, going back to, you know, Marketing 101, this is the type of people you want to talk about your brand online. And Google wants that because Google can look at it and go, right, you're the authority. We know you've got a good website. So this is what it's all about, really. So what I'd say is it's threefold again. It's technical, content, and brand building. You know, getting these mentions, these backlinks. Now, the way that you need to look at it is then it's 15%. So if you want to look at it in percentage of how important it is, it's 15% for your technical, 15% for your content, and then pretty much 70% for your brand building, you know, your backlinks. So, you know, these are mass differences. They're really where you should be spending your most time. However, you know, when people are talking about content is king, it is, because then Google can find you. However, it's not so important as the fact that you still need to get it out there. People aren't going to find it. So when you've got your shop window, as in your website, nobody's just going to generically find your website. Now, search helps. So you set up your website enough that Google can crawl it. There's good content on there, so content is king. And you've got loads of people linking to you saying, you know what you're really on about in your industry. So linking to me, this guy, he knows loads of stuff about traveling the world and how you can improve your life through that, and loads of tips and advice and experience. Great. I can show him higher, so when somebody types in X, Y, Z. So that's basically what you're looking at. So there's that three major things as part of it. Like I said, you know, the brand building element is really key. So if you can get on the likes of BBC and all these kind of websites and give value out there, then these places will start picking up. So yeah, that's what's really important in the SEO world.
I guess
Don't
it's
get me wrong.
becoming, it's being an influencer as well, isn't it? You know, you kind of
Absolutely.
influencer in your industry is a big part of it. You know that you know you're giving your knowledge on basically what you do, you know, and your experience,
Yeah.
and you're sharing that through the content on your website, which obviously then people want that on their website because they're in the same industry. You
Yeah.
know, I don't think it's I wouldn't be scared about, you know, sharing content or being, you know, an influencer on
Absolutely.
someone else's website, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
like I always get the question around like, oh, how much, should you be writing a blog? How many words should these blogs be? Absolutely writing a blog. The number one reason why you write a blog is, well, there's two reasons. One is the authority, so you become the authority in the industry. Google are like, you're
mhm,
pumping out all this content, it's great content, people are linking to it, people are talking about it, people are sharing it on Facebook and Twitter
yeah,
and all this kind of stuff. And because of that, it's making you the authority within the industry. Number two, when people are typing in big long search terms and how to do blah, 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 and these always grow massively year on year, 30, 40% year on year. And because they're now with voice search, which is growing even more rapidly every year,
yeah,
people are going to be
yeah,
searching for much longer terms because that's how we speak. So what it is longer terms get picked up because your blog posts are long, your blog posts are talking about in a confidential communication style. And plus it picks up these long terms and it puts them all together and all very smartly says, oh, right, this is what that you're searching for. This is a really good result for you. So
yeah,
blogs, absolutely number one, should be written all the time. In terms of the content and the length, I'd say 500 is minimum. But the
hmm,
general consensus in the kind of SEO world is write as much valuable content. Don't just write it for the laugh, basically, just to fill the page, but as much valuable content on that page as possible.
yeah,
Everything about that content, everything about that title. So what I normally do is like I'll write it out before, so I'll have the title and then header one, header two, header three, and like what I'm going to talk about, and then summary. So I always do like what this blog post is going to be about. So again, it's a really good introduction for the consumer. So it's really good to think about people who are reading your website and also Google bot. So Google, all right, okay, I know what this page is going to be about now. This blog post is going to be about. Then I go into my content. Then I include images and then make sure that there's alt tags on the images, which is
yeah,
the only way that Google know what that image is about. So
yeah,
there's all these kind of things, and it's it sounds very complicated, but it isn't when you get really your head around this. So if you just type
yeah,
in like beginning a beginner's guide to SEO, the search engine land, and all these kind of websites out there that can give you all this information. It's a minefield, but once you get into it, you start realizing how good it is. Now, in terms of the technical thing, you might be thinking, oh God, I don't know how much about websites. It's taking me this long to get my own website. Guess what? The likes of WordPress do this for you. It's already set up to design to be Google friendly, as it were.
hmm,
But
yeah,
there's also obviously the plugins that you should be getting. So one that I always recommend getting straight away. I'm just looking at it now to remember the name.
yeah. I
Um,
think I know what you're going to
what
say.
I recommend.
Is it Yoast?
Yeah, Yoast.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the reason for this plugin is that it very nicely tells you what and gives you instructions where you should do certain stuff and where you should put certain
yeah,
stuff. Talks about the description. There's the little bit of text underneath when you see the link in Google, the headline. So it gives you all this information, a nice, friendly kind of environment, gives you some information in terms of how to do it. You
hmm,
absolutely must have this. So that sets up your
yeah,
technical, getting your content. Make sure it's user friendly, but make sure that Google know what you're trying to say. Make sure that
yeah,
in your description and your Facebook and your Twitter, uh, when it links through, make sure it's got a good description. Make sure it's got something that's going to grab them on Facebook and Twitter to actually click on the link. Not link bait in the sense of, you know, trying to force people to click on it, because I don't think that's right. Just send them to a website for the sake of it. But, you know, having a attention-grabbing headline, so have a think about that as well. But one recent actually change that Facebook have made is that if you don't set your Facebook headline and description within this, so that it sets it to your website, when you share something organically on Facebook, you can't actually edit this information anymore. So if you're using people like websites like Hootsuite and people like that who are pushing the content through, Facebook, knock it off now. So it has to be set on your website. So this is absolutely important. So again, set your website on Google as well as Facebook and the entire universe online. So
you've got to,
that's
you've got to be always on it, haven't you? You've got to always watch. You've got to keep an eye on these updates all the time. They're doing it daily. There's a really good link from Facebook that you can see their daily updates. So that's an interesting one. But so I mean, that's answered obviously what we can do or what people can do for the business today to rank on Google. I've just got, so my question 3 was, SEO is text based. Can I still be creative? Can people still be creative? You might have answered it a bit ago, but you know, can we still be creative on, you know, even though it's just text based related, you know, SEO? And so you mentioned a bit about images and the fact you can add alt tags, to an image. So, you know, we can still be, you know, super creative, I guess, and look the part, if you like, look professional, as well as it being SEO ranked.
Friendly. Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, your website needs to make sure, to answer your question very quickly, not very quickly, but top level, is that absolutely there's a massive creativity part of SEO, and that's personally the bit that I love. And the interesting thing behind it is that obviously you want a website which is appealing and it looks nice and all this kind of stuff, but you know, many years ago there used to be all these flash websites which used to be graphic orientated and all this kind of stuff. It looked fantastic, but absolutely zero chance going to get ranked on Google.
Sensible. I still see some of them as well.
And it's all the websites with like an intro before you get to the real website. It can't.
Google's killed it straight away.
So it's again the same issue with if you've got a page and it's just got one image on it. Google, I don't understand what's on this page. I don't understand. You've got 50 pages like this. Now I'm basically being told, the Google bot's being told that your website's got loads of thin content simply because you've got page after page after page with nothing on it. You can't read it. You don't know what's going on. Same as if there's just a video on there. So it knows there's a lot of description, but look, it still needs something to read. So alt tags, for images. So in terms of being creative, you know, you've obviously got two elements to it. Writing your content and having creative-based images around that to try and tell the story as well. So even though it's good to have it in text, because Google will go, we know what you're on about, have it in a nice, friendly, awesome image. Have it in something which grabs your users, you know, your customer who's looking around your website's attention. You want something that grabs their attention. And you go, oh, wow, look at that. And if you have it in a graphic form, which is, you know, you being very creative, fantastic, because guess what? Other people are going to share it. Other people are then going to link to you because they've included your graphic. So, you know, one thing that might be really important to your brand, to build your brand, is have your little logo on each graphic so that when people share it, then great, because then, you know, they can link it back. So I think, being very creative is absolutely number one thing.
So adding visuals as well to your content, you know, the whole overall visuals is really important, I think, based on video and animated GIFs, I guess, are still popular. And the fact, photographs are great, but graphics, maybe explaining further. I'm trying to think what they're called now. Infographics, are they still quite relevant to people's industries? You know, people still have, I guess, time to actually consume that content, read that content, rather than reading a long post, or is it just helpful to have that within your post, a blog post?
Again, the purpose behind and the reason why infographics went so massive a couple of years back and still are, is simply because not really for SEO in the sense of it's good user content, but Google again can't read it, so you have to have the information underneath
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
But the reason why they were so massive and such good like thing to use is because people like them, because as long as there's a purpose behind them, it's not just done for the laugh. People like it, but it's organized in a nice, friendly way, graphical way, and that meant that you could then share it. So there's an awful lot of like websites out there, infographic websites you can submit one to for free or for 10, 20 bucks or whatever. So the idea was you could create something very quickly and that users liked, and also other webmasters like. So you could then seed it out to them, you could promote it to them, they could, basically feature on their website and then link back to your website. So then there were a purpose of creating a link. So it's very easy and quick way that you could create something very graphical, very creative led. And then kind of see it out, promote it out, get then links back. Now, that still is a tried and tested way to build your brand online, but I would just say that A, it has to be really good, right? And B, really good, I mean really creative, and B, it has to have a purpose. It has to link into your content or your website and your theme. It has to be relevant. And if it uses data from different sources and it's really useful, then absolutely. But if it's just for the sake of, I want to try and build some links, and it won't work, it won't happen. And no, you shouldn't be doing that. There's your point behind Google, is that don't do stuff for the sake of just getting a link. And that's the reason why, 5-10 years ago, people were just buying links from people who had big, massive websites and all this kind of thing. And Google don't want that, because you're basically cheating the system.
Yeah.
And that's black hat, if anybody's ever heard of black hat SEO.
It's got to be pure content,
It's led because you are the best. You are the authority. You're not buying links just because you've got a bigger checkbook than the next person.
That's like social media buying followers again. On social media, people got on that bandwagon. Well, a lot of people did, and now they find themselves that have got thousands of fans, but they're not doing anything. They're not converting anything. Based on what they've bought. So it's
more about engagement on social and on your website. It's more about getting the right link from the right place. That's what it's about. And like I say, the more well-known websites are the ones that you really want people to feature yourself on. So if you go out your way and you give some information out, or you go out your way and you create a really strong guest blog post on somebody's website, or websites that's ranked really well, then that's more important than perhaps like throwing together an infographic and then send it to these infographic websites. Now, don't get me wrong, if you've never got links from them websites, why not? Why not create a nice creative graphic, or if you don't know how to do it, get somebody else to do it, who've got that experience in the creative field. Create an awesome graphic about your content or about your topic or whatever it might be. Pull in different data sources which make it really useful. Promote it to these websites. You've just got yourself a bank of backlinks. Fantastic. So that is a very creative way. Now, the reason why I like SEO, and because, like you said, Damion, it can be creative, is from the brand building point of view. It's marketing, and they're building your brand online. So you need to be as creative as possible, and that's the part that I absolutely love. Being creative online and creating campaigns and creating, or be infographics or other creative pieces or, interactive web pages, micro pages, all this kind of thing. Absolutely, like, be as creative as possible. But, don't be disillusioned with the fact that if you create the best piece of content in the world, or the best infographic website or micro website or whatever it might be, if you don't tell anybody about that, then nobody will find it. So what's most important is when you have created something like that, is that you've got to get in front of people, you've got to promote it, you've got to do all this kind of thing to try and get people to see it. And that includes paid media as well. If you've got a bit of money, you can push it as well so that it gets in front of the right people. But, as we've previously said on other podcasts, make sure you start very small and then scale it up when you start seeing people come to it and they stay on your website for a couple of minutes looking at your piece or whatever, then you know it's working. You can scale up towards that audience. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Being creative is really, really important in SEO, and more creative you are, then the more likely you're going to get them bigger, better links. And there's a number of ways
that's the
you can
brand
do this.
equity again, into it?
Yeah, yeah. And one of the really good ways that I'd recommend doing this is signing up for a service. If you go on Google and type in Haro, so Haro, it's like a journalist newsletter per se. So if you sign up for that, you'll get a email sent to you like daily or twice daily. And on this is like different headers. There's like business header, news, travel, all this kind of thing. And there's journalist requests. So journalists are going on there and other bloggers, webmasters, and they're saying, oh, I need somebody to give me this type of information. So you can click on it, you can find out more about it, you can email them. Now, don't get me wrong, like you email 10 of these people because you feel like you've got enough information and you blast it all out in an email, and they don't get back to you. And it's disheartening, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to do it. Do it because it's free for a start. And
yeah,
I'm telling you, like,
so is that
the number of times,
is that helpareporter.com? Is that what you were saying?
yeah,
Haro?
yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just type that in for people that want to search for that.
Super top tip here. I use it. I've built loads of really important links on my website. One of them being CNN travel. And the way that I got that is on this list, a blogger were looking for tips about people who travel and use Tinder. So I sent an email off, give some information. She responded to me. She asked for more information. I give her more information. We talked it over email back and forward. This was a couple of weeks back and forward. She wrote an article. It went live. Bingo, I've got a link. I've been mentioned on there in something that I can talk about. I'm happy to talk about. It goes back to my website. So fantastic. That comes from a website which is like, in Google's eyes, number one. Yeah. Google looked at a lot of websites in the sense of like the people like the BBC, CNN, all these websites, regardless of what we all think about them, in Google's eyes, these are number one. These are gold. If you get a link from this, it's probably worth 100-fold off of just a generic blog website. The likes of like website.wordpress or website.tumblr, these websites, no good. Like the Google don't really count them as a link. Also from Facebook, YouTube, these websites, it's important to link from these websites. However, if you do get links from these, they're no follow. So Google don't count them as in terms of I'm passing authority to this website, so it doesn't count them like that. So it is like little exceptions to the rule. That website, absolutely sign up for that. When you see something that you feel like you can give a bit of information about, just fire an email, give them something so it hooks them, and so they're going to come back to you. That's absolutely important. So yeah, absolutely. Like use that website. You know, I've built a lot of relationships with bloggers on that website, and I really think because it's a free service and you can just fire them off, do it. However, what I will say is, as soon as you see it on that list, fire an email. Don't wait. Don't delay. You've got to send it because in the journalist side, they've got a deadline. They want to get as much information and the best information from a different sources online, and they need to do it yesterday. So always
definitely.
But that's a really quick and easy way. Another one to do is go on Twitter and type in hashtag journalist request. This basically is when journalists are asking for some information or they want to interview somebody or whatever it might be, include a product or service within what they're writing, they'll tag it with this hashtag. And then they'll go on there. You'll see if you search for it, there's like tons. And it might be the fact that every 1 in 20, you feel like you can your website's about that and you can contribute to that topic or that query.
Is that hashtag journalist? Is that hashtag journalist reporter?
No,
journal request. Sorry.
Request. Yeah.
Journal request. I don't know if you've just seen Saz. Saz has asked a question, so I don't know if you want to just answer that as well. Sorry. journal request. Just
Do
putting that
you
in there, I'm
mean
sorry.
because your URL is mentioned on their website? I'm not quite certain what point. Sorry, I'm talking. There's a lot of information going out of my mouth
Yeah,
this
yeah, it's a lot
morning.
of content.
So apologies.
Do you
You
mean
might have
because
to
your
listen to
URL is
this
mentioned on their
podcast
website?
a couple of times.
Do you mean because your
So
URL is
maybe that's in reference to
a bit earlier? Yeah, sorry, yeah.
when I was talking about probably from the likes of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, it's important that, let's say if you've got a YouTube channel, it's important that, for people who are watching you and absorbing your content, it's important to have your link to your website because people can click on it and it goes through to your website. That's important. But what I mean is that the link juice, so in Google's eyes, the bot doesn't follow that. So thus, Facebook or YouTube, whoever it might be, are not recommending you. It's there's a link there, so they're not saying this site's good. It's more that it's just a friendly way to get there. Sorry, you've just seen some more come through. Is that what you mean?
About Google seeing your website mentioned by authority.
So yeah, your URL, back in the day actually meant something in a sense of if you had keywords in it, but what you wanted to rank for, that'd help. Like it don't do that anymore. So URL's not all that important. It's more of just user friendly, so that if it says your brand, in our cases, I am danelson.com, or damionelson.com. If it says your brand, then you know what you're on about. If it's something that doesn't, relate to your brand or your website, then that's not good for a user. But Google's not really using it to rank your website. Sorry, I mean by an influencer.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we need to ask Saz later through message, see if we can answer
we can.
later on. I don't know, and send her a
It
video.
might be something.
We'll send you a private video, Saz,
That'd
if you
be
want.
good.
With any questions you
Yeah,
want to follow through, because I did want to ask Dan before he goes, if possible. Just like I know you've added you've added lots of tips already. So if anyone's just joined now, you need to watch this replay from the beginning, from the start here, because this is for any beginner. This is a really good guide for SEO. But I did want to just ask you your top 3 tips for SEO. Really, I know you haven't got much time left, but it'd be awesome if you could just tell us like 3 top tips for SEO and how maybe we can go about applying them.
well, looking kind of top tips, there's obviously so much information out there and so much what you need to do, to keep on top of SEO. And it is a big minefield, but it's really important, Like I said, I've already mentioned a couple of things there, but I suppose looking back
you've
at
already got it.
looking back at the 3 pillars, which is the technical and then the content and then the brand building. Mm-hmm. If you look at technical, I'd make sure you've got that plugin, number 1. So if you've got a WordPress website, or if you've got Shopify, you'll see in the logins. Our emails just popped up. You'll see in the logins that there is like an SEO section where you can put in your title and your header and all this kind of thing. None of that makes sense. Just look on Google; it'll tell you exactly what you should be putting in each place. Number 1, get that plugin or sort that out. Make sure that on that plugin you've got everything that you need to do to rank in search. Please bear in mind that it takes Google probably a couple of days or a couple of weeks to re-rank it. So when you change that, don't change it all the time. Set it once and pretty much leave it unless you change your website theme. But yeah, don't get disillusioned if you update it and it takes Google a week before it starts showing in search. I recently changed mine in the weekend, and because my website's got a bit of authority behind it with these links from the likes of CNN Travel, it sped it up. Plus, you can force it to recrawl it. However, I'm going very technical. But number 1, plugin. Get that plugin. Make sure you got that website, your technical part of your website set up. And the fact that WordPress, if you are using WordPress, is already kind of set up for SEO, that's perfect. So make sure you're using WordPress, basically. Don't be using for one of these nice template graphic websites, which they promote on TV because people can't read them. So you're never going to get in search. Number two, another tip. Number two, about content. So make sure you're writing quality content. Make sure that it's got your header 1, header 2, header 3. It's split up. Make sure that, because everybody comes from mobile device, it's like 70-80% now your traffic. You'll see it in Google Analytics. Make sure your website is actually split up. So I'm finding websites which have got paragraphs and paragraphs of text. It's too much to handle. Break it up, put on a new line, put a graphic or a nice image in between. Make sure your images have got alt tags on them so Google know what that image is about. And also make sure that your content is more than 500 words, but it's useful content. And make sure that if you wanted to talk about a certain subject, so if you want to give out money-saving tips to travel the world, right, include as much information, much valuable information on that page as possible. Don't just do 500 words, we'll cut it. You know, don't just put a blog article together and just be like, oh, it's fine, I'll say it live.
Yeah.
It won't cut it. You need to make it as valuable as possible, include as much information as possible, other outsources, link to other websites. All this kind of stuff is really good because you've got then a page where Google are going, you know what, this website here, this page here, this needs to be number one. And then the third thing is go out and actively speak to other people in your industry, other people, other travel bloggers. Go out and guest blog. So guest blogging is really important, and it's something that I use personally. And I have a guest blog hub on my website. So if anybody,
I've done it a few times as well, so I'd recommend that. Yeah.
If anybody in my industry wants to have a look, you can go to my website. I am danelson.com. It says "Write for us," and you can click on there and find out more information. But the important thing is, and the reason why it's really good, is because you're the authority in your industry or your niche in that industry. And what's really important is that if you feature on somebody else's website, you're getting their readership. They're getting something because they're getting a free article of value. So their users are getting something. Their website's getting something to get more content. Google loves fresh content. You create more content, it's going to keep coming back to your website and go, wow, there's more. This is how the bots work. So everybody wins. It's a win-win situation. And because you're on there, you get in front of a new audience, you interact with that audience, and it links back to your website. So win-win-win on Guest Plus. Don't do it for the sake of it. Don't be going on websites and totally left field of what you're trying to talk about just for the sake of a link. Nor should you be paying for it. You know, against Google's guidelines of paying for any kind of links, anything like that. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there. So get on Facebook groups, type in your niche on Facebook groups, join all these groups. There's tons of people looking for guest blogging opportunities. There's tons of people doing so. It's absolutely, you know, if you've not got a lot of time, it should be like top of your list in terms of building your brand online. Talking about it, looking through.
Yeah,
absolutely. So make sure that you know, you're doing guest blogging. Basically, get out there. It's a really quick and easy and free way to do it. Sign up for that that newsletter. Absolutely, sign up for that newsletter. Get involved in that. Where you think you can add value, fire an email to a journalist or another blogger as soon as possible. Fire it to them and hope for the best. If it seems interesting and you've hooked them, they'll come out, have some more information, feature you. So that's absolutely really key. Again, free, great. Why not do it? Third one is the journal request. Like, get involved in that. You know, I have a look. I have everything dotted down in a calendar. I'm sure not a lot of people are that process driven, but my brain works like that. And I have once a week. Here's an hour slot. Go have a look on Twitter. You know, type in journal requests. Go through each one. Right, I can email a journalist about that. Put in a spreadsheet. I can either and by spreadsheet, you know, Google Sheets is free. So, right, that journalist there. Here's the email address. Here's the email address about him. Right, okay, I can email him. So I make a big list and then I email him. Think about my answer. Think about if I can use an image. Think about if I can add in my link to my website. You know, all this kind of thing. So just put your value out there. You know about that subject. Tell her, get them bought into you, and then they'll come back to you if they think that you can help them. It's all
And
about helping each other, and that's
that's
how you can build.
yeah, and that's an overall of building up your community and your tribe again. We've mentioned this a few times before in this podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is just another element to how you can build up a community online. And just, you've got your tribe of people then you can always count on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. Like when you do, create a new article, for example, a blog post or whatever it might be, if you have other bloggers who you follow on Twitter or on Facebook groups, private message them and say, oh, just want to let you know that I think this might be quite useful to you. Let us know if you want to feature it on your website. Make deals with people. I've a number of times I've spoken to someone and they're like, oh, they email me and they'll be like, oh, I really like this piece. And, I've got a website, this page, which talks about, the same thing. So, for example, I did a recent blog article about TransferWise, which is an online service. Anywhere around the world, you can transfer money from bank accounts, and it's very, very cheap. So it's like they charge you like I transferred £150 and they charged me like £2 to do it. So compare that to a bank, crazy.
Yeah.
So TransferWise is an article on my website. Basically, it's like if you're living in Australia, use this website. So I had this website, so this page, and somebody sent me an email saying, oh, notice what you're talking about this. The guy's website was all about finance and using online tools. Great, right. So he was like, I've noticed you mentioned this. I found it really useful. It's really cool that you're telling people in Australia that you can use this, technically very cheap service compared to a bank. Transferring through a bank is a nightmare. All the fees involved. And the fact that they convert it at their own magic rate as well. These guys do it whatever rate you see on Google. Fantastic, yeah? Anyway, so, and they're from, I can't remember where I think the people have started it are people from Skype. Who started Skype? Anyway, you can find out more information on my page, on their page, TransferWise. Now, this guy contacted me and said, blah, blah, blah. So he started his email like, I like what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, just to let you know, I've just wrote this piece and I included a really cool graphic. And in this graphic, it was like, he just explained like the process of it really simply. And he was like, I wonder if you might be interested in using it. And I'm like, of course I would. It's great for my people. That's something I should have thought of, but I didn't. It's very creative led. Damion, you probably would have thought of it when you did blog posts. And it shows you how much detail you should really think about blog posts. Anyway, so I was like, oh, awesome. So, so I was like, yeah, of course I can. So I'm having dialogue back and forth with him now. Being in Australia, it's a bit difficult. I think he's in America. However, perfect. So I can include that in my post. I can link back to his website and say, oh, this came from blah, blah, blah's website. The source is his website. Great. So he's built himself a link from a website which is quite authority in my area, and it's from a page which makes sense because I'm talking about something he's talking about. So that's how it works. Don't be scared to contact people on Facebook Messenger.
You just got to ask,
this kind of thing, and email them. There's plenty of email lists out there, like templates where it's like, I want to promote my website to a blog or whatever. There's loads of templates out there that, you can ask us for assistance. We can help you. Make sure we can check these emails before you send them if you want. Whatever you want, let us know, and also let us know if you have success stories as well. That's always really, really cool. Videos, send us both a message or post it on your page and tag us. Absolutely love that. Do all that and let us know if you find any of these tips helpful or
any of his podcasts content. Just like if you've got results, share results. I mean that we had a lady last week. We had a lady last week called Donna, and hope she don't mind us mentioning her, but she actually made notes from one of his episodes. I mean, she's watched all the episodes now, so she's caught up, and hopefully she'll be watching this tomorrow because I think it's a bit late for her. But she shared written tips of what she wrote about on an episode, I think 2 or 3 or something like that, and we had to share that out because that was just awesome. That the value we're giving, people are applying it, and well, they're either writing it down or applying it, or just doing doing whatever they can from what we're giving. So that's just amazing, And I've also got a message earlier this evening of people, somebody that I didn't even know watching, and they've been watching our episodes from from day one, and they just love what we're doing, loving the content, and off the back of that, they're asking for as services. They're asking for certain stuff. So I'll let you know about that later on, Dan. But yeah, it's just awesome, that we you're in Australia, other side of the world, I'm in UK. And together we're just helping people grow their businesses. So this is what we're all about, Just super happy about, we're only in episode 4, but the amount of value and the amount of feedback we've had, the amount of reviews we've got back from these is just amazing. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining again, and thanks so much for all your sharing. Michelle, that was you. That was you, Michelle. Thanks so much for popping in, and hopefully this has been another valuable episode. We'd love your comments, so let us know. If you're live now, comment, or just send us a message. Send me, Dan Elson, send him a message, send us both messages. Just get involved. You can do a group message on Facebook, so we can be both in the group, and just give us some feedback on what we're giving you today, and in all the other podcasts. So yeah, so anyway, so this has been a Q&A, and we have not had that many questions. We had a few questions, but if you're watching this replay, do ask us questions. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. I know, Dan, you've got to go, aren't you? I know you've got to go, so let's wrap this up. I know we've run out of time, guys, but really thank you so much for joining again. Thanks, Dan, for all your your content today. I know it was a couple of questions there from myself, and hopefully we can do it again, but maybe you asking me questions on maybe it's creative side and design side. So I think that podcast is coming again in the future. So as always, go on.
Go on, Dave.
No, I was just going to say how we can contact each other, but
that's fine. Yeah. So I suppose today's kind of theme was an SEO, very top line, but hopefully everybody got bit of kick out of it, a bit of information. I always say if you get one piece of information from something you read or watch, then it's been worth your while. So hopefully it has been. You can comment below. You can send us both messages, as Damion said. Please share it if you found this useful, so that other people in your community find it useful. And also, this will be resent. So as soon as it stops, it will be resent around Facebook, and also we'll put on YouTube as well. So
repurposed content.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can mention, you can email me as well, which is dan@iamdanelson.com. And also
someone can comment below. Yeah. So that was dan@iamdanelson.com. So if someone could just type that in, that'd be awesome for us. And also myself, you can contact me at contact@damionelson.com. And obviously on here on Facebook, wherever you'd like, whichever channel you'd like to contact us on. But it's been super awesome, Dan. Thanks so much for coming in, and hopefully you'll have an awesome day.
Yeah, hopefully the weather's going to be a bit funner today. But I've just put my contact details there. Damion, bash your contact details there just before I run off. Hope people found it really useful. Any questions, fire away. And have a good evening, UK, Australia. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Catch you soon. See you, bye. Just adding my detail in there, guys, just in case you wanted to email me anytime. Thanks so much for dropping in, and see you soon, guys. See you, bye. See ya.